you guys. Let's get started. Just as a reminder, our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And through our vision is how we get to our mission, which is to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. And then that is our belief system. The number one thing is win-win or no deal. We want to make sure that everybody, it's a give and take within our market center. So customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everybody achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. So just want to remind everybody that. Cool. So let's spend a few minutes. Gratitude is the highest form of energy. What or who are you guys grateful for today? Share your wins. Tell us something good so we can start the meeting in that really great way. Those of you guys that are online too, please share, put a chat, let Meta know that you guys are on. Okay. Who wants to start? Mo. Yes.
Hi, my name is Mo. I'm new here and I'm ready to grow.
Oh.
Welcome home, Mo.
That
was a shout out from Natalie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mo.
Who else?
Went to the beach for about a week and it was nice, able to relax with the family and let the kids just go and hang out on the coast, read some books, and good stuff.
I love it, Thomas. I love it. So you're energized and ready to go.
I don't know, I'm so
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah. Now you need a staycation from your vacation.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
right. You said something like, hey, go on vacation and so come back, I'm ready to go. We've been taking back in before running. I'm like, oh man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I love it.
vacation, yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who else? I have a few more people. What are you guys grateful for today? Or share some wins. Fill buckets. Brag about your listings. Something.
Right.
I'm grateful for my truck. So I had my transmission breakdown and yeah, a whole commission check had to go.
Oh,
But I was like,
No.
at least I have glad I have a commission check.
yes. I love it.
Super, so I say super positive. I wasn't in an accident. Off of 198 exit going on to Acres in the middle of the road. I had every firefighter and police officer. Thanks so much. That was a highlight, but I got my truck there. So super grateful for them.
That was
A lot of nice people here at my side.
Yeah. So. Anyone else? One more person want to share? What are you guys grateful for? Good. Feel good.
I'll share.
Awesome, Natalie.
Okay, I got all the cancer out of my face.
Yay.
That was scary, but it's gone. So if you see me, nobody hit me.
I love it, Natalie. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys for sharing your feel-good stuff with us. And we're going to jump in. Mo, you beat us to the punch. Welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you. Very cool. And I don't know where to stand. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for all of our amazing partners. I know we have Opus here. We also have Susan online. So we'll start with, I think it's Opus. You guys lag. We're lagging. Awesome. Perfect. So Amanda and Colleen, if you guys want to come up here, or Amber. I know Amber has some big news and we'll share it on the next slide here in a second. Colleen. Amanda.
We really didn't have much to talk about. We had bigger news other than us tonight, so. Super fun, but just a quick little thing, on your commission instructions, we all send you like an opening package when we send all the good stuff at one time, hopefully that we can. If you got your commission instructions in that package, if you can send it to the gals in the office so they can send us proof of signature and broker approval. It seems like sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss, and if you want us to include her and send them to your MCA team, let us know and we'll happily do that. That way, just take something else off your plate and we can help.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
all for your support.
Okay, big news for Opus.
Oh, let me not scan it. Oh, sorry. Bullet. So he's gonna scan it.
Bullet.
So because we need a new picture now, so we're,
Yes.
so we're growing at Opus. So I want to introduce David. David has, I'm gonna let him give his whole bio, but David has been with us for about a week and a half now, to almost 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
we just got him started. Yeah, I went on vacation last week, so I started him and I was like, bye, I'm out. So I needed a little vacation.
So she just threw him in.
I did. I just threw him in, but I heard that everything went great. So I'm excited. Yes.
Morning, everyone. I'm David Carrero, formerly from Chicago Title. Know or don't know me. There. And I know Susan very well. I've been an escrow officer for about 8 years. I've been in the business in escrow. This is my 21st year. I left Chicago in 2023. My wife and I took a little sabbatical to go live abroad in Ireland. So we were there for about a year. Got to have a lot of fun, a lot of different countries, explore, travel, different things like that. Got to finally get back in the grind. I've been blessed to be able to come aboard the team. And so, like, I'm really looking forward to it. I just want to say a big shout out to everybody. Thank you. Thank you to Amber. Thank you to the girls. Like I said, I am truly blessed. As far as my background is concerned, as far as what I do, what I've been known to do, and everything else like that, I residential, refi, commercial, ag, you name it. I've handled it. I've done it. I've been assistant to commercial escrow officers, ag escrow officers, all different kinds of assignments, you name it, I've done it. The only thing I'm not too familiar with, or I don't really like to touch my hands on, is if it's a bulk sale or a bull. That just kind of doesn't get the wheels in my head kind of turning or whatever. I don't know why. I have a mental block to that or something like that. I don't know. But my personal philosophy pretty much is I'm always honest and upfront. I go out of my way to help everybody as much as I can. I love first-time home buyers because I love being able to just walk them through the whole process, everything. I always like to take the time to explain everything to them if I possibly can. If someone needs their handheld, that's great. It just makes it better for a better experience. My whole goal pretty much is to make you guys look good in front of your clients, because if you guys look good, then I've done my job. And so that's always pretty much what I pride myself. I have no problem picking up the phone. In fact, I get on my wife. My wife texts, people for like 20 minutes. I'm like, honey, why can't you just pick up the phone? And she comes to me, she goes, well, because I don't want to talk to the person. I'm like, what are you doing? And so, and it's like, so, I mean, I take, if I mess up, make a mistake, I take responsibility for it. I don't pass the buck or whatever. I hold myself accountable. I hold myself responsible. I hold myself to a high standard, whatever. And so I always like to go out above it, for my clients, my customers, whatever, and just do the best, because I think that's what makes things grow. And I'm always with the mindset that we are all a team. A home doesn't close, escrow doesn't close unless it's all of us working together.
I love it.
I want to be that type of person. I've always had that mentality, and so I just always do that to everybody else. So, thank you.
I know I used to work with David whenever I was a realtor, when I was doing the real estate side, and so we're very blessed to have him as well. I know for those that have worked with him, and I even talked to some of our older agents outside of Keller Williams that have been in the business for a while, that I don't know that I've ever heard such nice comments come out of so many people's mouths about David and his communication with the clients. So you guys are all in great hands with everybody at Opus. So just remember that whenever you guys are writing your escrows now, when you write in Opus escrow, we have Colleen, Amanda, and David in our Tulare office, so make sure you're writing their name on the contract, or in an email or a phone call coming over to our office so we know which escrow officer you're going with. That's gonna be working on that transaction. If you have a client that's over in the Arroyo Grande, Pismo area, we have an office there too, remember? So this team here can facilitate your transactions here, but they can go sign at our office there if you need to. We can work with that. And then we also have an office in West Ventura County. So whatever you guys need, we can cover a lot of Central and Southern California on getting you guys signed for your clients and everything everywhere by still working with this team here. Okay? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for everything. We really appreciate all your support.
Next, is Cindy here today? Yes, awesome.
Couple things I was gonna bring up today. Welcome, Mo. HELOCs, I wanted just to kind of throw those out there. You're talking to somebody who wants to buy something, they own a home, they have a nice 2 or 3% interest rate, don't want to sell, but they still want to buy, they have a lot of equity. So HELOCs are a great option to get access to that equity. I do have access to those and I can work up scenarios for you if you want. Just a note on underwriters and how important underwriters are. I just pre-qualified somebody that was with another lender whose underwriter said absolutely not, they don't pre-qualify for this. I was actually able to get them pre-qualified with the review of an underwriter, 10,000 higher than what they were turned down for at the other place. So just underwriters and the vast knowledge that an underwriter has that backs you up as a loan officer is super, super important. And I have that. I have one of the most experienced underwriters. And that actually lives in our area. So just have that backup for you. Okay. Trivia. When can and I'm just being real, can not necessarily have to be, but can a credit report be pulled? A, at pre-qual, B, at closing, C, after 90 days, or D, all are possible. D, all are possible. So at pre-qual, of course, you want that to be done. Make sure you know that the borrower is ready to go. At closing, there's a credit refresh that happens on every deal. That's why it's important to let your buyers know, don't buy your furniture on credit that you absolutely love for your house. Or as the call I got recently, hey, can my spouse, I'm at FHA loan, can my spouse co-sign for my son on a car during escrow? You know, okay. But the good thing is borrower asked me, right? It wasn't a surprise at the credit refresh at the end. And then after 90 days, credit reports are only good for 90 days. So if I have somebody pre-qual and they ask me the question, well, how long is my pre-qual good for? That's not just a black or white answer. The file's good for a year and a half. I mean, I've picked up files and updated them. A credit's good for 90 days. If you call me at the 95th day and the borrower is borderline on their credit score, they were okay when I pulled it, and now they're running to write an offer, and my credit is expired or going to expire during escrow, I will repull that credit right before you write that offer if it's going to expire. If they're borderline only, that way we don't get any surprises that their credit card limit went up and they went down the 3 points that they had in Patty, right? But if they're not borderline, got a high credit score, they're not going to get a repull unless there's an expiration that happens or until they get in the contract, I guess is what I'm saying. So, Travis.
So there you go. Thank you, Cindy. Hey, Susan.
Hi, everyone. How is everybody today? Hope you're doing great. So I have a few things. First of all, any of your buyers that end up with a First American home warranty, and thank you so much for your support. You guys are wonderful. You're lovely people. Please make sure that you give your buyers my contact information So they know they have a person that lives in the area where it's 110 degrees at the same time, they're experiencing it, that can help them with various different situations or if they have a question. So please do not hesitate to give that out. And then I have a couple of shout outs. First of all, real excited about David. He's a really good escrow officer. And I mean, I've known him for quite a while and I've never heard a single negative thing ever about him. He's so great. So that's the first thing. Second thing is welcome Mo. I've worked with Mo for years and he is a very conscientious agent with his buyers. I just know from having conversations with him how much he cares about what he does. He's also a really great husband and a really great dad. And you guys are really lucky to have him. So I wanted to say that. And then lastly, I definitely want to give a shout out to Cindy because I did a first time homebuyers class with Frankie and Cindy, I guess it was a week ago Saturday. And I've done so many first time homebuyer classes in my career, I can't even count them. And I've never, ever, ever had a lender that was that good with a group of first time homebuyers explaining the process at a level that they completely understood. I was so impressed. Anyway, I just wanted to say that to Cindy because she just did such a wonderful, awesome job. So a few bucket fillers there along with everything else.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Just a huge shout out to Nathan at Win Home Inspection and of course, Miss Heather.
Got something
Lovely.
today.
I have news in the NHG world today.
I work in the most boring field, but you know, there's not a lot that happens in that. But there. I know. Simply out of the hazard. Okay. Sorry, strike that. It's honest. It is fire season. Fire season is among us. So CAR has updated the fire hardening defensible space form in the contracts. They're not in the contracts. It has been updated, the form available with CAR. SNAP licenses this form automatically to $10,000 a year so that when a report, you know, we're very automated, we're fast, quick. So when a report is going through, if it tags that it's in a high or very high fire area, which is when the fire hardening form is required, the report automatically kicks that in from CAR. So you're automatically getting that form. Questions? No. Okay. So the form got updated. There are not a lot of fire areas in Tulare County. So that's the good part. However, we do have fire areas in Tulare County. If you are currently in escrow or you have a report on something that was pulled before July 1st and it's in a fire area, let's refresh the report and get the new form. It has 12 new questions that have to be answered by the seller. If they do not know the answer, leave it blank. It's you know how CAR is with their not being recorded, right? They're okay.
You shut down.
Yeah, but you know how so we're gonna have many revisions of this form going forward, but initially the first form that came out is confusing. If you have any questions, call me. But basically they give you one box, yes. There is no box for no. So it's either yes or blank. I don't know, no, it could be anything. So you're just basically marking the yeses that we know, and we'll wait for a revision to come down the road. But right now, the most important thing is if you have any transactions that are open that are going to close after July 1st, you want to make sure you have the new form. So reach out to me and I'm happy to know.
High density fire areas are, I'm assuming,
Yeah, mostly we see them up in Springville. We've got Springville, California Hot Springs, and then up in Three Rivers is really, and then, you know, Shaver Lake, if we've got any people doing Fresno. But we just are very flat around here. We don't have a lot of fire. Awesome.
Hexapod for being an affiliate as well. And then just as a reminder, you guys, productivity coaching with Jody Jolly is open to all agents for all the training that they have as well. Okay, so everyone please take out your phones and I want you guys to save this link. Okay, so right now it's empty. Okay, it is empty, but this is going to be the drive that's going to have all things KW. We're going to upload all of our sales meetings in there. We're going to clip agent panels, trainings, all of that. That's going to go into this drive for easy access for everyone within the market center. So those who are not here today that can't scan this, come to the next sales meeting, right? So, and we will also be uploading files and things like that, like this GPS. This will be uploaded in there as well. We will have folders so that way we keep it organized. We will be working on how-to videos as well. So that way this is going to be a huge help for a lot of our team owners, right? If you've got newer agents that are coming onto your team and you want to just direct them to something that they can connect a phase two with that training. It'll all be uploaded onto this Google Drive to make it easy for everyone to access. Okay? Awesome. Quick reminders. We've got the contracts class this Thursday in Troy, going over the residential listing agreement. I highly suggest that everybody come to that if you do have questions. Oh my gosh, this is my 14-year-old. I don't know why he keeps calling me.
That's actually gonna be me teaching.
Oh, it's gonna be this Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So it's gonna be CB this Thursday. And then also in the Hanford office, every Tuesday, they do a call blitz. Scan that QR code to join. What else we got for reminders? Okay, Mega Camp is coming up. What's that?
Mega Camp.
Yes, Mega Camp is coming up. We did verify that the first day of school is on the 14th. So you guys can come back early, but please let's gather a group together so that way we can do some fun stuff while we're there. Okay, and then save this email, kwtctransaction@gmail.com. So that way, any questions you guys have about your files, your DAs, your checks, and all of that good stuff, it will be directed to this email. Okay, and then reminder, Wayne's class is starting July 29th. So please, if you guys refer people to the class, you actually get inputted into, remember our contest that started July 2nd all the way to November 30th to get your MLS dues paid for the first half of 2026. So keep that in mind.
2026, wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
And then month of giving shoe drive, they are accepting donations all the way through July 24th. So if you guys, anything helps, please make sure that it says here that the Tulare County Association office in Visalia, they'll be open from 9 to 5 to accept those donations also.
And we have a box here in the office with
Yeah.
4 pairs of shoes.
Awesome.
So it's a good start, but we need more.
So we've got a couple more weeks, you guys, so please bring those in and we'll make sure it gets to the association. And then again, here's the quick July training for this month. And then also the Scott Leroy marketing training that is continuously going Monday. It looks like Monday through Friday. So let's just make sure that we are taking advantage of all the things that's available to us. Okay. Okay, awesome. I'm super excited for training today. We've got 4 really great panelists and that I'm so excited to share with you guys. And it's to learn how to have a thriving business, whether you're a solo agent or a team. So if I can please have our panelists to come up so we can have some time to put them on the spot for the differences. Awesome. Nice and set. We'll introduce them as they go.
Good, I see. I'm sitting.
Okay, musical chairs.
Yeah.
Jeff is gonna stand.
All good.
Awesome. So we've got Travis Silva, we've got Cassie, Mo, and Jeff today. So I've got Travis and Mo that are solo agents, and then we've got Cassie and Jeff that are on a team. So I did, so that way that they're not caught off guard, I did ask them a couple of questions. We'll start with Travis. Travis, if you could share with us how long you have been in real estate.
I've been in real estate for 5 years. My first year, I still had a full-time career. I was actually in corrections. So that helped spark my career from my SOI, because working that career, I know thousands of people. It's pretty crazy because when I first started doing real estate, I was like, I don't know that many people. And I think we all kind of maybe think that in our brains, but I think reaching out to people and getting it out there, especially on social media, if you're brand new, I try to tell a lot of people that are interested in joining KW or just becoming a realtor themselves. I give them suggestions like that, like reaching out to the people you know, because everybody knows somebody, and that's gonna help you in your career in the future.
I love that. Travis, what is your number one source of business for you right now after 5 years?
After 5 years, I would say it's still my SOI,
Okay.
and it's follow up and communicating with people that you have done business with. If you take care of your people, they're gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
And I think if you
love
do a
that.
great job, and even if you do drop the ball, which, you know, none of us are perfect, but I feel like if you really care and love what you do and you care about other people, this is the career for you.
I love that. Thank you, Travis. Cassie? How long have you been in real estate?
I have been in real estate for 8 years, and I've actually been with Apple since the very beginning. I started when I was 19 years old, and I've been with her ever since. So,
And Cass, after 8 years, what is your number one main source of business right now?
so mine's actually pretty much down the middle, 50-50 of past clients in online leads. Online leads, I will call them all day long. I absolutely love it. And that stemmed from refusing to call people that I knew. Apple's like, you have to call, yeah, you have to call them. You have to call them like, nope, I will not ask somebody that I know for something. Like, I'm not doing it. I will rather talk to 1,000 strangers, door knocks, whatever you want me to do, but I'm not calling my mom to ask her. Yeah, it's past clients and online leads, and then I don't know how much time we have to kind of dive into that, or if you want to.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to our second part of the question. So,
Okay.
how,
Yeah, so with past clients, how I'm able to stay in front of them, being on the team is our pop buys that we do. We do 4th of July. The clients absolutely love them. They'll either send me a picture and say, oh my gosh, we love it. Thank you so much. The kids love it. They will tag us on Facebook with it. So it's actually, I've realized, not only getting in front of our clients and staying in front of them, but getting in front of their people, because then they go and tag us on Facebook. And so I've also been very against social media, being with Apple. So
Apple?
yeah, so I've been forced to go into social media and do videos and things like that. And so I'm slowly starting to realize that you actually can reach many more people through the power of social media. So that's how a little bit of things of how we stay in front of our past clients. I will go to coffee with them, breakfast, especially my elderly clients. They love going out to breakfast. I try to go to as many things as I'm invited to, baby showers, graduation parties, whatever the case is. I will try and do my best just to show up, even if it's just for an hour. And then online leads, that was actually what I started out with. She gave me a list. She's like, call all these people. I had no idea what Sync was at the time or the power of it. I was just told to call them and ask if they have bought or sold their home yet. I've used LP Mama, the script, so I say that thing in my sleep, backwards, whatever you name it. The power of the script and what I've learned is I was always super insecure when I was 19 of, Apple, who's going to want to buy a house from me? I'm 19 years old. I live with my parents. Like, if you want me to sell a house to them when I don't even know, own my own home. So for me, meeting strangers, it helped me to know everything I possibly could about that person that I was going to meet with. Whether they had 3 kids, their job, it really helped me define their personality style. Are they amiable, analytical, so that I knew how to be. If I needed to be a driver and get straight to the point, then that's what I did. If I needed to be amiable and ask them how their day was going before we started, that was how I was able to convert over the phone and really connect with them before I even had the opportunity to meet with them in person.
I promise you guys just said a lot right now. And we will do trainings on everything she has learned in the last 8 years, I promise. I will bring it into the Market Center because it's pretty freaking awesome, the growth I've seen in Cassie for the last 8 years. So, Mo, what about you? How long have you been in the business?
6 years.
Okay.
6 years, yeah.
Awesome. And
Got my
up to-
license in May of 2019.
Okay, very cool. And up to this point, what is your number one main source of business right now?
It's a little mix of everything. A little bit for sale by owners, expireds, circle prospecting, but mostly SOI.
Okay,
SOI, yeah.
I love it. What are you doing with the expireds for sell by owners and circle prospecting? And then, of course, your database, like just quick tidbits.
Yeah, well, prospect 3 hours a day if I could, squeeze in another hour.
Yes,
4 hours.
say it again.
3 hours a day prospecting, 8 to 11, non-negotiable. I know she breezes it, of course. As soon as I get it, I just gotta know what to say, how to handle them, how to handle objections, the whole 9 yards, get the appointment, put them in my CRM and follow up. And keep following up until they tell me to kick rocks, drop dead, or they don't answer.
I don't know about you guys, but it's making my heart sing.
Yeah.
I love it, Mo. Thank you. Awesome. Jeff, what about you, Jeff?
So I got my license actually in the '90s originally. I stayed in real estate for about a year, nearly starved, went into law enforcement, opened my own business, then came back to real estate about 3.5 years ago. Signed on with Keller Williams, and I've been so supported here ever since. I joined Hal Sousa's team. I've had support and guidance ever since, and yeah, it's been good.
Well, and Jeff, up to this point now, what's your number one main source of business?
So it's 50-50 between online leads through our ISA and then open houses. Houses have been something I've
Wow,
really been focusing on, and it's been doing well for me.
very cool. I love it. And what are you doing to stay in front of the open house leads or, your SOI?
So critical is follow up. It's so easy to get a lead from an open house, and it's just as easy to see it go away if you don't follow up enough.
Oh my God.
It's not calling once, it's not calling twice, it's consistently staying in touch with them. No matter if that's short term because they're hot and ready to go, or long term if they're just learning about the process and you spend some time educating them,
Yeah.
connecting them with a good lender, and then pressing forward through the process, but consistent follow up.
Love it.
How are you organizing those leads?
CRM, absolutely. The CRM that I have available to me through our team is critical. I'm able to set up automatic searches and other ways to stay in touch with them. An SOI drip that sends back good holiday messages, and yeah, that helps too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Awesome, Jeff. Mo, we're gonna go back to you. So we already touched on like some of your lead gen activities that you talked about. Prospecting 3 hours a day from 8 to 11, just gonna say that out loud. And you know what, I wanna touch on that really quick because it's not just, when people hear the word prospecting, they're like, cold calls. No, following up on open houses, calling your database, right? And then calling expireds and for sale by owners. You guys, those aren't cold. Those are not cold. It is just a different perspective. You have to understand the psychology of every source that you're generating business from. Okay? Awesome. But Mo, for you, what would be one of the biggest impacts that you've had in your career so far? You could share that with everyone.
The biggest impact, keep it simple. Keep it simple. This business can get overwhelming, can be difficult, and sometimes you see the people who've been in the business for a while doing 2, 3, 4 things at one time, and they're like, I want to do what that person's doing. Do one thing. Do one thing, master it. Have a schedule, be consistent with your schedule. Don't overcomplicate things. It can be easy to get lost in this business, but it's not that hard to succeed. I know some people might say things, but realistically, the blueprint's always been there. Every past agent who's ever succeeded has either done the same thing or, we all did the same thing. So it's just stick with it. Stick with one thing, master it, and then move on to the next.
What's your one thing?
My schedule and prospecting. Yeah,
Okay.
I stick with that. I don't try to do the whole, I'm gonna do open houses, force up, what else is there? Open houses, social media, everything. I just stick with one until I master it, and then I'll move on to the next.
I love that, Mo. That's such a great piece of advice. Thank you. Cassie, what about you? What's one thing that has had a big impact in your career so far?
Yeah, so I have 2 parts to that. My first one would definitely be consistency. I would say that I wasn't your typical agent starting out your first year where I was some overnight success that many people are fortunate to be. I was not out here closing 20, 30 deals my first year. So I worked with what I had and I stayed consistent at it. I showed up every single day, despite however many times I told Apple I quit and I'm not coming in. That was where I live. So sometimes I was consistent with what I had, and you can't expect to be good at something for doing it 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, even a year. You're still learning to this day, whether you're 5 years in the business or 20 years in the business. So definitely the consistency that allowed me to build the confidence and knowledge around real estate. And then 2 would be the value of the team. I walk into the office and there's buyer consultations made, there's listing packets, there's offers being written up as I'm driving home from the showing so that I can go home to my family and make dinner, whatever the case is. And Apple will always ask us, who do you guys think the most important person on the team is? And you would think it's Apple herself because it's her team and she has the value and the knowledge, or us agents who bring the business to the team. But for us, we feel as a team that our ops team is the most important part, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do all the business that we do, especially with the leverage that they provide. So Amber and Christine truly run the household on our team, with all of us dysfunctional agents calling them 50 billion times a day. So I think the biggest team too on a team is the splits. It's always, I think that's the biggest misconception with, oh, I don't want to give somebody my money, and whatever the case is. But I think that when you find a team where the value matches what it is that you feel you're losing in commission, you forget how much that you're gaining with giving that out. So I think once you find a team that provides you so much value, you really don't even blink an eye with what you're quote unquote giving out, because you're gaining so much more.
I love that. So cool, Kaz. Thank you so much. Travis?
I think lately what's been impacting my business the most, I would have to say, is repeat clients and referrals and just sticking with the basics. Like, whatever you learn worked for you, don't stop doing that. If you keep doing it, your business is gonna grow. But also, like what you guys were touching on, there's always something new that you could learn and other ways that you could grow your business. Like just recently, I ended up finally all on my own. I closed a transaction with a realtor.com lead. And at first I was thinking, man, these are so hard, because I have worked with our ISA team and they're amazing, which is April and Kimmy. And I've had a lot of transactions with them as well. They're amazing people. And they've helped me a lot with my career as well, so I cannot forget about them. But I mean, to close that first one when you're paying for that, because it's not cheap, it's a huge accomplishment. So it does work. Paying for leads does work. So there's so many different ways that you can get clients and get some transactions and close them. It's the consistency and honesty and integrity and really caring about what you do. Because like what they say, right? One of the most stressful things is selling your home, or, even if it's a double transactions, they're selling and you got to coordinate everything for them. Just know they're going through a lot of stress, and it's a lot. If you're there for them, they're not going to forget the hard work you did, you caring about them. That's people. So you will get referrals, and if they ever buy or sell in the future, they'll come back to you.
So good,
It's
Travis.
a blessing.
That's so awesome. You guys, give them a round of applause. It's so funny. I want to make sure moving forward that we spotlight and highlight agents that are a little bit more reserved, right? Like I want to bring up faces that are inside KW that we're not so used to seeing. Okay, because there's some amazing people in our market center as a whole. Okay, and I want to make sure that they get a chance to share with everyone and all the agents what's working in their business. And as you guys can tell, it's different. It is not the same. But the number one thing that I heard every single one of them say is consistency, right? It's consistency. And look, when they got up here, it's not like, oh, he makes, social media posts. Oh, she cold calls. Oh, he does prospecting. Oh, he does online leads. We have no attachment or judgment as to how they even do their business until we give them a chance to share that with us. And I want you guys to know that it doesn't matter how you want to build your business. What matters is the consistency of how long you're going to do that to build your career. Okay, so thank you guys so much for doing this today for me. Cool, so our broker's corner is gonna be our market update with CB.
Oh, I'm doing the whole market update right now?
Yes, yes. So I'm so excited because you guys remember one of the things that's going to help us be aligned with our vision is to make sure that we are the most knowledgeable agents in the marketplace. And this is how understanding what's going on with the market is how we're going to be able to gain that knowledge with CB.
Right, unfortunately, I added a couple extra slides this time, so we'll try to go through this really quickly. This is a slide that shows us our median sales price in Tulare and Kings counties. So the blue bar is the median sales price. You can see we're right around $385,000. That's the median sales price of a home in Tulare and Kings counties. The green and the red lines are interesting. These are the average for and sold prices in Tulare and Kings counties. And what you'll notice is that there's typically about $100,000 difference between these two lines. So on average, the homes that are for sale in our MLS are $100,000 more than what they're actually closing escrow for. And I think this is really an important slide for you to share with your sellers when you're meeting with them for the first time, because all they see is the for sale price, right? They saw their neighbor list their house for $600,000. They saw their neighbor list their house for $490,000. What they didn't see was when their neighbor closed escrow for $415,000. The neighbor didn't come over and knock and go, guess what? I sold it for $400,000. So this is an important slide to share with your sellers.
Is that for the entire Tulare County, CB?
This is Tulare and Kings. But it's only the data that's in the TCMLS. All right, this is our for sale, sold, and pending listings. So this gives you an idea of what's going on in our market. How many homes are on the market? How many homes are actually going into escrow? And how many homes are closing in any given month? And because of the way this slide looks, I actually zoomed out to give you guys some more perspective on this, because this is only looking at the last 5 years. And if you looked at this, you'd say, oh, wow, that's a lot of homes for sale. We're up around 800 homes that are for sale last month. Or actually, this is May's data. And you guys will notice this red line. This is what's going pending every month. Traditionally in Tulare County, we've been in the TCMLS, we've been selling about 400. We used to, on average, sell about 400 homes every month. That number has gone down significantly since our inventory has shrunk in the last few years, probably starting just a little bit before COVID. And then since then, we've had a low inventory amount. But you can see the seasonality here, and you can point that out to your clients. You kind of see these little heartbeats. So you can see kind of that's a year, that's a year, that's a year, and so on. The light green is our number of homes for sale. The dark green are the ones that closed escrow that month. So you can see that in May, we closed about 270, let's say. But this number is creeping up. We're getting up to about 800. This next slide is 15 years, because that was only 5 years. Because I wanted you guys to have some perspective. If you looked at that, it looked like, wow, there's a lot of homes. We're starting to get a lot more homes. If you've only been in this industry for 5 years, you might think, wow, there's a lot of homes for sale out there. But historically, it's still low. This is going back to 2010. This is an area where we had a lot of stability. 2011, 12, all the way up to about 2020. Very stable in terms of the increase in pricing, how long it would take to sell a house. Everything was pretty predictable in terms of that. And you can see that seasonality again here, little heartbeat with the red. But you can see we used to almost always go right around 400 homes, just a little bit over 400 homes at the peak. And now you guys can kind of see how this red line is a little bit lower than what it has been in the past. Think about that for a second. It's 2025. We're selling fewer homes than we were in 2014. Population's increased, more people out there looking for homes. We're selling fewer homes than we were at that time. And a big part of that is this lack of inventory. So when we see this number jump up here, don't get panicked. Don't think, oh my gosh, it's a glut. There's so many homes on the market. It's really not. In fact, when you're helping with buyers, you can feel that, right? There aren't that many to choose from. All right, this next slide is 15 years. And the reason I went with the 15-year one first instead of the 5 years, I wanted to have these back to back so that you could see, you guys see this nice steady climb. This is about 5.5% increases in sales price year over year. This is our price per square foot. So down here, you're at about $100 per square foot. Don't we wish we had those prices? And then right up to about $160 per square foot. That was a nice straight line. And then we shot up. This was COVID. You guys remember, we really shot up here at an average clip of almost about 10% a year. And now we've kind of got back to that same roughly 5% incline that we saw here. can we go back one slide? I just want to show where this happened. You'll notice that where that steep incline happened was in this part, right? Supply and demand, it's really simple. The less of something there is, the greater it goes up in price, because that same demand equals increase in prices. That's how people buy it. All right, next slide. This is just zooming into the last slide, just the last 5 years. You can see right here. Can anyone tell me what happened in 2022, right around 2022? City can tell you. Interest rates, right? So we had this nice incline. This is, remember on the other side, this looked really steep. And then it kind of flattened out, but this is spread out because this is taking that last bit of that last line and stretching it. So this is actually an incline. It just isn't as noticeable from here. But you can see we're not seeing decreases in prices since the interest rates went up. All we're seeing is a flattening out, a slowing down of the rate of increase, but we're still hovering right about $230 a square foot. Ignore January. There was like,
I was just gonna ask. Oh, okay.
yeah,
I was like,
sometimes you get weird data points. All right, this is sales price as a percentage of original list price. And the way I want you to explain this to your clients is a lot of times people think, well, let's go for it, right? That's that $100,000 difference. Like, yeah, we know our house is probably going to sell for 400,000, but why not ask 550? I mean, someone might pay that. What I want your clients to see, and same thing, you can go into the trend graphics and you can pull these up. Yes, please. And pull these up. What you'll see going all the way back is that these numbers hover typically between 95% and 100%. This was an anomaly. This is during that same time where we saw that steep incline, where the ultimate sales price of a property was above the original list price. That was pretty rare time. You guys remember that? 3 days on the market.
if even that.
Thank you.
24 hours.
It was 24 hours.
4 hours.
Blind offers.
Right. In fact, during that time, total days on market, that was really just negotiation time. Right? I mean, it was only that
only
long
worked so
until you
fast.
picked an offer to go into escrow with. So this is kind of an anomaly, but I want your clients to see that typically the homes that are selling right around this band, right around 97% of their original list price. So what I tell clients is that if you want to sell your home, you have to even get showings, to even get people to come out and see your house, you have to be within 10%. And that's kind of a stretch. You have to be within 10% of where it's ultimately going to sell for. To get offers, you have to be within 5% of where people are going to offer, because people don't buy houses like they buy stuff at the swap meet, right? They just go, okay, that one's out of our price range. We're just not even going to look at it, right? And then they don't want to be insulting. They don't want to bring a real low offer. I mean, some people do want to bring low offers, but you can also show this to your buyers to show them that those houses that are priced well, they're not going to come off their price 20%. They're not going to come off their price 15%. It's going to be very close to where they're at. And this is an accumulation of all of those. So there are some that are going up, 103%. There are some going down, 90%. But on average, it's right in there, right at the 97%. So this is crucial data to share with your sellers. And then this is our average days on market. I prefer median days on market because I think it's a better number, but sorry, something weird going on with my throat. But on average days on market, the blue line here is the cumulative, which is the total days on market. That includes time that it was off market, like pending. And the orange one is the average days on market, which is just the time that it showed active. The way to explain this to your client is that's when it was active. So being syndicated out onto realtor.com, Zillow, all of those sites. And you can see that where we're at right now is just below 35 days. This is very typical. 35 days is about the amount of time it takes. If the property's priced for the market, you should sell in about 30 days. The way I like to share this information with the client is we know if it's going to take us 30 days to get into escrow, if 2 weeks in we haven't had any showings, it's very unlikely that we're going to quickly get into now we're in escrow part, right? We've got to get to showings, offers, then we're in escrow. And if the typical process is 30 days, if 2 weeks we've had no showings, we're overpriced. Or if we're 3 weeks in, we had one showing, no offers, we're over price.
CB,
Yeah,
one thing too, for like newer agents, I would say too. If the property is worth way more, and it's a way higher amount that it's listed for, that's also gonna slow things down, right? If it's like
Sure.
$1 million listing, that's gonna slow things down, of course. So.
yeah, and this is overall, this is for all listings.
Yeah,
So you're gonna wanna look in that, and you can with trend graphics, you can say, hey, I only wanna see homes that are above 800,000. Cause it's gonna be different numbers than this. I would say up in that price range, it's gonna take you a little bit longer because you got a smaller pool of buyers.
I had a question, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
So I had a current listing where my sellers were firm on the price that they wanted, and even though the data was showing that it was gonna be a little bit under, so we ended up listing in the middle. However, they had an appraisal done about a year ago, but it was a refinancing reappraisal, which I did let them know it was different. But they still wanted to list it a little bit higher. So how do I approach that conversation with them when it comes to letting them know, like, if we're not seeing any action with the next 2 or 3 weeks, we might want to consider pricing.
Oh, that's a really good question. Here's how I approach it. I don't set the price of my seller's house, right? I don't decide what price it's gonna sell for, and actually, neither do they. This is what I like to say to clients. The market determines it. And what price we list it for is us just trying to get close enough to market to find out. We find out what the house is gonna sell for. Everybody, the seller finds out, the realtor finds out what the property is going to sell for. And by the way, the appraiser doesn't determine what the property is worth. Remember, Troy says this all the time. Market value and appraised value are rarely the same thing. Market value is what a ready, willing, and able buyer will pay for a property, and that a seller is willing to accept for their property. That's market. We're looking for that. And so I'm very humble right at the front. I say, I don't know what your house is gonna sell for. All I can do is put forward my best guess based on the data in your neighborhood, what I've seen going on out there in the market, and I'm gonna try. But here's the great thing. There's not all that pressure to price it perfectly at the beginning. People put too much pressure on, like, we've got to get this price perfect. No, because if you price it too low, guess what's going to happen? The market is going to determine where that house should sell for. That's the easiest way, because if you price it below market, market's going to push it to where it should be. If you price it over, which is what most people want to do because they think, well, we've got negotiating room that way. If you price it over, the market will let you know through just crickets, right? That's how you'll know. And so that's how I explain it to my clients. We're going to price it, and then we're going to listen to the market. And the market's going to give us clues whether we're priced correctly, whether we're priced a little bit low or too high. If it's too low, you'll know because you'll have 3 offers that week.
Yeah.
And there's no danger there too, because a lot of times your clients are going to say, well, what if we price it too low? There's no danger because you're not obligated to accept an offer that comes in at or above your asking price, because real estate is not retail. It's not like that big screen TV at Walmart. They have to sell it to you for the accidental price they put on it. Real estate's not that way. Did that help?
Yeah, it's just the wife was on my board. I pointed out both ways, like the pricing a little bit high and pricing a little bit low, and how that could impact their home. And the husband wanted to set it like right in the middle, and I did let him know that at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever the market is gonna bring us the correct price. So I think it's just we'll give them a couple more weeks and kind of see, and then kind of touch bases with them and letting them know.
I would always follow up. The thing to do here is, we're not making the decision for the client. All we're doing is information. We're telling them, well, here's what I know. Here's the information I have. It's your decision to make. I'm here to guide you.
Yeah, that's what I said, because I could tell the husband wasn't happy with the price that I was suggesting based on the data. And I said, look, it's your home. If you want me to price it at 600, 700, I'll price it, but I'm letting you know what's going to happen. So I was very clear and open at both ends to let him know what, the possibilities on both ends.
And the best thing to do is, instead of it, I like charts, I like data, because it's not just me talking.
Yeah.
Telling you something, it's me showing you. So if I say, hey, days on market are lower than what they used to be, that's not just me telling you that. I can actually show you here's where days on market are compared to where they used to be historically. Right? And we can see, if someone's telling me, hey, well, my brother-in-law, he sold his house a couple years ago and his agent sold it in 2 weeks. Right? Because you're going to get these kinds of things brought up to you. And you're on the market for 60 days. They didn't go with your recommended pricing. And now they're upset because they're like, well, my brother-in-law's agent sold 2 weeks. Oh, that was in 2021. Oh, you mean right when the average was 2 weeks? Right? So right now, this is where we're at. And this is only if we're going to hit the market. That's only if we price it well. Now, if you overprice it and we don't make a move for 3 weeks, you've got to credit me those 3 weeks. We need to tack that on top. So if I'm going to sell your house in 40 days, if I price it right, you really now need to give me 70 days because of the, 30 days that you used up. That's the way I would approach it, my client.
Just really quick, CB, I just want to point out, you guys, we're going to clip this part of CB's, this specific one, because if you hear some of the words that he's using, okay, it's like, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's okay. We'll price it whatever you want to price it. As long as we can agree that we're both going to listen and look for clues, what the market's telling us on where your price should be. Right? So that it's not like CB said, it's not you telling them that they're wrong. Right? It's like, hey, good. Well, let's do that. And we're going to listen and look for clues together.
One thing that I noticed on the panel here today is humility. And humility goes a long way.
Yep.
If you go in there acting like, listen, I'm the big shot and you should do everything that I tell you to do because I'm a successful real estate agent, you're setting yourself up for failure. And there's nothing wrong with failure. We all have to have failure. But if you go in there with a humility of like, I don't actually know, because sometimes the public thinks that. They're like, well, you know what my house is worth. I actually don't, because I'm not in the market to buy your house. And I might not be the person who would pay the most for your house. That person that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find that person, the one person out there who values your home the most. And in some cases, this is what I tell my sellers, in some cases, you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, value your own home more than anyone else out there, in which case it remains with you. And that's okay. That's not a problem. If no one else values your home as high as you do, then that's the highest and best owner for that home is you. So
good, CB. I love all the language. Yes.
all right, so this is our last of these slides. We'll get into the other slides. This is our months of inventory based on closed sales. And then this is our median price. Median price is the same as the first slide, still right around 385,000. Our months of inventory is really, it's a ratio. You take the total number of homes for sale, we saw it was around 800, divide it by the rate at which we're selling them. And that tells you if no new homes came on the market, how long would it take for us to sell off the remaining inventory? And right now that's sitting right at 3 months. Can anyone tell me what is considered a balanced market? Six to traditionally, economists
Even
will
now?
say 6 months is a balanced market. So 3 months of inventory is still a seller's market. So we are still in a seller's market. It may not feel like it compared to where we were here, but it is still considered traditionally a seller's market that we're in. All right, now we get to the competition slides. The controversial slides, the slides that I ask you, if you share these in your consultations, please be sure that you keep this entire packet together. Do not separate it out because there is language in here that makes us comply with our Tulare County Multiple Association of Realtor rules. Rules such as when the data was pulled and where it came from. So don't take them out of context is what I'm saying. But you are allowed to share this data. So this is listings, top 10 offices for June. Keller Williams Tulare and Kings was the #1 office with 14.8 million in volume, 38 listing sites sold in an average of 29.89 days on market. This, I think, is a crucial indicator. I didn't used to put this on here. I used to just have volume and percentage of market share and so on. And then I realized because we would have like 1 or 2 months out of the year where our nearest competitor would beat us. And I was like, how did they beat us? That doesn't even make any sense. And then I looked and it was like, okay, 60 days on market. I'm like, okay, they just suddenly had all of these closings in 1 month. So anyway, we're #1. And your clients can look and see exactly how we stack up. I mean, you are in the office that sells the most real estate in the county. This is listing sites. Let's go to buyer sites now. And then this is buyer sites. Now, of course, the number one here, this is not actually an office, right? This is non-member office. What this means is that, you know, when you go into your listing and you put in who sold it, if they're not a member of TCMLS, they don't exist. So you have to put non-member. That just means that the buyer was someone who doesn't belong to our MLS. We want to point this out to our sellers. That's roughly 1 in 5. It hovers somewhere between 1 in 5 and 1 in 4. So somewhere between a quarter and a fifth of the homes in our area are sold by agents that aren't from our area. And that's why it's crucial to list your property so that it gets syndicated out. You know, this is more of, not that many people, I don't think these days, don't want their house on the internet or don't want a sign in the yard or don't want, most people want the marketing, but you are going to have sellers for whatever reason say, well, we don't want everyone to know that we're selling. They need to understand that they're limiting their buyer pool. They're getting rid of between 1/5 and 1/4 of all potential buyers because these agents don't live here, but they're bringing people into the area. So we want to make sure we're not limiting that. And then, of course, number one of the actual offices, Keller Williams with 30 buy sides, 11.5 million and almost 9% market share. The last couple pages here are for 2024 as a whole. We can go over those quickly. 2024 as a whole, and this just helps you show that it's not just everyone. Yeah, go ahead. It's not just this particular month that we beat everyone, but we do it consistently year over year. I got rid of the 2023 because that feels like ancient history to people, but we now have the 2024. It's all compiled, the listing sides, buyer sides, same format. Any questions on any of that? Oh, I just remembered something I forgot to point out. Can we go back to the listing side for this month? The market gives us clues all the time. Yeah, this one. I want you guys to notice something. Do you guys notice an office up here that you wouldn't traditionally think of as a real estate office? Does anyone notice? Does anything jump out at you guys? No. Number 3 on the listing sides is a new home builder. It's not a traditional real estate office. D.R. Horton had 24 listing sides close last month.
So good to see that.
So if you guys are not taking your clients out and getting them registered with the new home construction, you're really missing out on a huge opportunity. So when you're working with buyers, don't forget. Travis?
Okay, ask who's closed with D.R. Horton in the last month. Not kidding.
No, did you?
I actually did something.
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out because sometimes I look at this data and I always am like, okay, what can I glean from it? What can I take out of it? That's a huge clue because we had seen new home builders up in here. Now, understand that this just means that D.R. Horton is listing theirs. They're putting them into our MLS. But there are a lot of home builders that aren't even listing their inventory in our MLS. So we don't know, it's invisible to us. But I would bet that most of the others, the San Joaquins and the other local builders, are doing a rate of business pretty close to this. So if you're not, remember to take your clients out and register them with new home construction. And
Awesome.
that's it for the market update. On the broker side, I'll just say, I really liked the panel today because like you said, Apple, it was agents that aren't seeking the spotlight, you know, they're kind of flying under the radar, but they're doing it. For the rest of you, you know, stay humble, stay learning based, which means you're not afraid to admit when you don't know something. You're not afraid to admit when you make a mistake because it's the only way to improve, really. And then the other thing that I would say is don't necessarily compare yourselves to other people. It's good to have a goal. It's good to look at someone who maybe is doing better than you right now in business and say, someday I'm going to be there. But that constant comparison can become a source of dissatisfaction with yourself. Remember, you should only really be comparing yourself to where you were.
You know, where was I 8 months ago? Where was I 3 years ago? Wow, 3 years ago, I wasn't even in real estate. So I just wanted to throw that out.
So good, CB. Thank you for that. All right, you guys, I know that we are past time, so we go through this quickly. Who do you know? Help us grow the market center really quick. Help us grow the market center. Here's what we offer. There's so much more that we offer, and we'll update this as we continue to just refine all of the value that we give as Keller Williams. And just as a reminder, here's our contest: minimum 5 agent referrals, minimum 5 escrows open with Opus, most amount of attendance to sales meetings and trainings. We should probably have like a little, we'll video it and make sure everybody gets credit for who's here today. And remember, it started July 2nd all the way to November 30th. We're going to give out 3 MLS page dues for the first half of 2026 for the winners, okay? And then next, here's the reward. 3 people will get their MLS paid January 1st, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. Okay, the KW Challenge Tracker is live. We're gonna be updating that and sharing that with everybody week after week. So please make sure that you guys are participating so we can give you credit for that. Okay, and then I'm super excited. Save the date. It is official. We have our first agent appreciation event starting Thursday of July 17th from 1 to 3. I was super mindful that KW Hanford office has an 11 o'clock sales meeting. So I wanted to make sure that they were able to come too without having to rush and miss out on any of it. So please go ahead and start RSVPing so that way we know how much food to be there. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with your peers. Come introduce yourself. Make new friends, like I tell my 5-year-old all the time. Freaking make new friends. You don't have to do this business alone. You've got some awesome, fun, and great and smart people in this market center. Let's get together, rub elbows, and explode our businesses through 2026. Yes?
Question, on the registration, it says 12 to 2, and up there it says 1 to 3, so which
sorry,
one?
The registration will get updated. It is 1 to 3. I changed it because I wanted to make sure that the Hanford office had plenty of time to get there, because I do expect them to be there. So, right, Thomas? Yes.
That's right.
Okay, and then what is last? Okay, I'm sorry, we will go through this next sales meeting. I just did this exercise with my team. I think it's super important. I'm gonna provide everybody so much clarity on how to just put together a 1-page GPS for the rest of 2025. Okay, so I hope that you guys come next week so that way I can help you guys fill this out. Okay? And then I always want to leave a quote. It's never about whether or not you have a good year. It's about building your career. Everybody has a bad year, and sometimes we have more than one bad year, right? But if you guys can see yourself in this business, in this industry for the next 5, 10, 15 years, that bad year or 2 years is a little blip. Cool? Awesome. Continue to show up, you guys. Thank you so much. Let's continue to keep the room packed. You may go. Where's Troy? Go find out.
Lights out.
Oh, thank you.